What is up, everybody? Jake O here today, talking about the crash, the housing market, the inflation, the used car market, etc., etc., etc. Now, I'm in a situation where I'm not in the best situation for this situation, but I like to talk about it. I like to help people prepare and be transparent as possible. And I watch videos that constantly go over numbers. That explain things, and I'm not just talking out my rear end. But so yesterday I took my fiance, my stepdaughter, and my daughter to the airport. They went to Florida for a few days. Very, very hard on me. I was crying because it's the first time being away from my daughter at all. So that was very difficult for me, and I'm trying to bear with as much as possible. I go out to so many things I'm messing up with and not paying attention to. Like yesterday, I left my garage partially opened when I went to the airport and the gym, so it was like partially open for 5 hours, and I don't lock my garage door, so I was worried about that. And on top of that, what's going on here? And then I go out today and I see there's a huge crack in my fiance's windshield in my other car, and she doesn't even know how it happened. So either something hit it and expanded, or one of the workers, dropped something on it. I don't know, but hopefully the insurance will cover it. So I'm off to the gym now, and I just wanted to talk about this because I keep watching videos and study the market every single day like I'm a realtor, but I'm really not. I just see so many price decreases, and most of them are from inflated price homes, so they're coming down. And even if a house is reduced 10, 50, 100,000, and it's overpriced like 400,000, it's not that much of a reduction. It's like I said and reiterated in all my other videos, it's like a wave. When people can sell their house at one price, people just like, well, if they can do it, I could do it, and then they just increase the crap out of their homes. So I was talking about renting a place. The place that I was going to rent, they actually lowered it, and then I reconsidered it, and then I stayed away from it. And I said to myself, I'd just rather stay in a house that I'm happy with and then lose money there than to be in a house I'm not happy with and losing money. And it's not my home, and I don't have the responsibility of selling it, but I'm not going to be truly happy in there. Now, I do love my home, to an extent, but if my dad has to be in it, because their lease is ending in April, and I have to find a place for both of them, and more than likely my mom's going back to Florida and my dad's moving with me. But I think that I'm never going to be truly happy until I continue to build homes the way I like it, because I visited open houses, I've seen many homes, and it's just not to my liking, to my style. And that's Texas in general. Texas is a more what do they call that, like Mediterranean, older style. It's not polished porcelain tile, all white and grays and white cabinets. Like that's modern. And now some people do enjoy that in Texas, but it's very rare, because all the houses I see, people like, and it's so dated and dark to me, and I like openness and light and everything. So I don't think a used home in Texas would fully satisfy me. It's just like I'm looking for so much in my final home, and I keep looking and looking and looking, and there's so many things that I want, from a pool and a hot tub, and a big backyard and some land and a big driveway and a lot of bedrooms and a bathroom and a movie room and so I have a lot of expectations for my next home. And even though I'm seeing all these prices decrease, and it's getting me really antsy, I want to act on it, it's not the right time. It's definitely not the right time, especially because interest rates are 5.5%. It's a big difference in your payment each month. Now, interest rates can continue to go up, and it would make it even worse for the housing market. But you can literally, if you look into the numbers, you can see that in 2008 with the crash, houses were 8 times the income that you brought in that you could afford, and pre-pandemic it was like 4.5 times, and then now it's 8.5 times. So you can see that a recession's coming. A lot of people are getting laid off of their jobs. That means they can't afford much. More people putting in mortgage applications is down by a fortune. So there was a numbers that came out that there's 700% more foreclosures in 2022 than 2021. So that's crazy as well. So a lot of different things point to just like the market crashing. And it's like we printed up so much money, these stimulus checks, and now everything's gone up. But it seems like new builds, like how they're building new houses, there's just so much inventory of new builds, and things are starting to go down. Lumber's starting to go down, and all these other things are going to go down, and a lot of less things are needed because they're going to stop building all these houses because they have nobody to buy them. And then, like I said, people get laid off, and the crypto market's down. So a lot of things just point to the market going down. Now, a lot of people were excited about the market going up, and I don't really understand the excitement unless you plan to sell and get your equity. That's the only way I can see the excitement, because hypothetically, if you bought a house for 400 and went up to 700 during this time, your house gets assessed of the value of its worth. So let's say it's worth 600,000, you're then paying taxes on 600,000 instead of 400,000 or whatever it was assessed for before. So maybe it was assessed for 300. So now you're paying more taxes, and you have a house, and you're like, well, my house is worth this much, but if it returns back to the way it was, the only thing you're going to lose is the taxes that you paid for before. So there's no real benefit to your house going up unless you plan to sell it or know the market's not going to go back down. So a lot of people are like, the market's never going to return to the way it was. It's impossible, blah, 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 blah. The market in 2019 wasn't bad, right? It wasn't awful. Now, a lot of people think houses are good investments. Houses are really not good investments. And especially unless you buy it and then you rent it out and all this other stuff, they're really not great investments. I mean, if you do a loan after 30 years, the loan amount's doubled. So you're paying double in interest. And then wear and tear on your house over 30 years is probably the same cost of your house. So I don't understand the logic of being a good investment. It really isn't. Like your house will go up maybe the same price of your house in 30 years, possibly, right? But nothing's guaranteed. Like they're not gonna, everybody's like, oh, raise the minimum wage, raise income, raise this, right? Increasing prices of things and raising things doesn't solve anything. Because when I go to the grocery store and I'm paying $300 for groceries when I used to pay $150, and I don't make any more money than I did when it was $150, doesn't solve anything. And even if I did make a little bit more, it still doesn't overcome it. So if you're paying people more, then you have to charge more for things, right? And they're not paying more. They're actually laying people off now. I remember everyone was like, everybody, was hiring, and now it's like a lot of these companies, such as like refinance people, because nobody's refinancing right now, are laying off their loan officers because nobody's refinancing, so nobody needs your job. So it's definitely a scary world. And now obviously places like Walmart and stuff, I don't see them laying off people. They're always going to need people, and it is what it is. But other jobs and other companies might. So it's definitely interesting, and I'm trying to prepare for this the best way I can. Right now, I do have my parents' money in an account. My fiance has some savings, and I have some savings, but a lot of money is tied up into my home, and this is the whole anticipation. I think I said this in a video before, but I'll reiterate myself. I expect to lose, like full crash, I expect to lose between $100,000 and $150,000 on my house, right? Now you say, why are you so comfortable losing $100,000 or $150,000, right? I'm not comfortable losing it, but my goal is to build a house that's $1 million, and $1 million house now is really pre-pandemic is really a $600,000 house. So we're talking about a $400,000 swing, possibly $500,000, because the market already went down $100K on $1 million houses. They all did. between June, July, and now coming to August, they all went down $100,000. So if I can build a home and stay in my home, hypothetically, I build a house for $1 million, and that's at its lowest. I'm gonna act on the housing market when I feel it's at its lowest, when it's close as it could be to 2019, right? That's when I'm gonna act. So then I'm gonna build a house, which is gonna take a year to build, design exactly how I want it, make it good enough for my parents to live there and everything, whether it's a guest house, whatever. And then I'm gonna sell my house and lose my, and hopefully, well, I'm definitely gonna make sure whatever contract that I do sign has a no price increase clause in its contract. This way, if prices go up, they're not gonna be like, well, the prices go up, materials up, so we're gonna have to raise the price of your house that you already signed the contract on. I'm like, no, that's not gonna fly. So while my house, which is at its lowest right now, is also gonna go up. Now it's definitely not gonna go up to what it is now, but instead of losing 150, maybe I lose 100, or maybe I lose 75. So that is the ultimate goal of all of this. And I have to do my due diligence. I have to do my homework. I have to be patient and not act on the market the way it is right now, because I will lose in the end. I will definitely lose. So I hope you guys like this. If you have any questions, feel free and let me know. The market is different everywhere. I know Florida is going down like crazy. So if you do want to look at the market, look at houses and see how many prices have decreased. Like, it's insane. Now some are still selling. I have about 50 houses sold, and saved, and maybe 3 of them sold in like a 2-week period. So like come March, April, May, you had bidding wars, you had houses selling in one day. Like, a house does not sell fast unless it has a pool, it's really nice, and it's new, and it's priced fair. Other than that, the houses aren't selling. They're sitting for a long time, especially the used houses, because there's so many houses on the market right now that people actually have a choice. People can actually negotiate, right? You couldn't do that a few months ago. You had bidding wars. You had people fighting for ugly houses, and now these ugly houses that people don't want are now sitting. Why leave your house at a 2.5, 3, 4% to go into a 5%, 6% interest rate? Ain't nobody want to do that. So a lot of people are staying where they're at, and a lot of people are selling their home, are trying to sell their home, because guess what? They're investors who bought the house and were trying to flip it, and now they're stuck with it, and now they keep lowering their prices just to get out of it and just make what they can make. So I'm Jake. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Take care, everybody.